Hello, everybody, and welcome to another brand new episode of Hey Man, It's Okay, a men's mental health podcast. I'm your host, Sky Bridges, your normal man without a plan.
And I'm Ryan Heapy. I'm a licensed therapist out of Newport Beach, California. And yeah, we are here today to talk about mental health and especially men's mental health in particular, maybe what it's like living in the Pacific Northwest. We have a regional expert with us here. Scott, yeah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey, I'm Scott Losse. I live in the Seattle area, born and raised in the Pacific Northwest. I'm a stand-up comedian, have been for about 15 years, but nobody knows me for that. Everybody knows me for other stuff, and that's just the way it works. But yeah, I've been doing stand-up for a long time, but I'm more known as someone who talks about being from the Pacific Northwest or cats or mountain biking or a number of different topics that I never thought would be popular. And I am a internet person. That's what I like to say. I have become.
How long have you been an internet person now? How long have you been at it? And also, how long has it been since it's gone viral?
I was like, I did it for a long time. There was a long time when I was not known on the internet as most people are. It was probably a good 8+ years that I tried to become somebody known on the internet. It has just been probably since middle of last December, like December 2023 is when things started picking up. And I became more known for content creation, which isn't really anything I ever imagined I would do.
I didn't plan that really.
I railed pretty hard against it for a long time. Like, it wasn't a thing I wanted to do. It wasn't a path I necessarily liked or respected. Like, I thought it was corny. And then I just made a video I thought was funny one day and it worked. And I thought, man, I'm onto something. And then I tried to make 10 other videos that were of the same vein and nobody liked them at all. So I was wrong. And I'm still not sure I know what people like about it, to be honest. I'm like constantly trying to figure it out. And I gave up trying to figure it out. But early on, I was like, oh, there must be a method to this madness. But I don't think there is at all. But yeah, it's been the last year that I've been like an internet guy, and the last like 6 months that it's really blown up and it's become a thing that has impacted my regular life for better or for worse.
How is that? What parts has it impacted?
It's interesting. It's the lowest level of celebrity, but I imagine it comes with the same pitfalls that real celebrity does. Not that I'm getting like stuff thrown at me, money in cars or anything, but just you don't think about how much you appreciate your anonymity on a daily basis. As a person walking down the street, like people might say hello, but nobody knows. You don't constantly encounter people who know you more than you know them. And that's like a thing that has been really strange is that I meet people every day who know a lot about me, and I don't know who they are, what their name, like what their deal is, where they're coming from, but they know who my cat and my dog is and what my wife's name is and what my nephew's name is, and they know where I hang out and what I like to do, and they know a lot of information. And that's been like pretty pretty weird, like I think some people might find it scary. I just try to roll with the punches, but it can be a little nerve-wracking, especially like leaving the house and being like, okay, I might run into people who know me and want to talk. And I'm a quiet person naturally. So that part's been really strange. Cool, because most people who come up to you, nobody's been negative, but it's just odd because you're just like, it's nice to be a person walking down the street and not have to worry about someone saying anything to you. But yeah, that has gone away. It happens every day. Someone says hi or someone wants to take a photo, and
That's crazy. Yeah.
it's odd. It's odd, and it can be a little. My nephew's horrified by it, which I think is funny. It's fun when I'm out with somebody and it happens and they're like horrified. I find there's humor in it, but yeah, it's very strange
Do
to
they
get
roll their
used to.
eyes? Do they roll their eyes? Or are they like, God, is this ever going to end? Or are they like pretty supportive?
No, he thinks it's the weirdest thing ever because I'm just like dumb Uncle Scott. I'm just like this dude who he hangs out with. and go snowboarding with. So when like a bunch of rando people come up, he's just, what is, I don't, he, yeah, thinks it's like super strange. Yeah, that's my favorite part actually, is humiliating my nephew with people who come up.
How old is
People
he?
come up. He's 14, so he's the
Okay,
perfect
yeah.
age.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
But yeah, it's been pretty weird. Like it wasn't expected. And I remember the first time it happened, I was out of town. That was the weirdest part, is like being not in Seattle and have it happen. That's when I was like, oh no, not oh no, but you're like, oh wow, people actually watch this stuff. Cause I don't know if I made things with the anticipation of it being consumed by anybody, but that's when it hit. I was like in Boise, Idaho. And somebody came up to me. I was having breakfast and they're like, I really like that video you made. And I was like, oh God, these things,
Wow, they get around, huh? Yeah.
they're available on the internet, and the internet is
Mhm.
everywhere. But yeah, it's been a difficult, mentally, it can be really straining
I
to lose
imagine.
to lose that anonymity, because you never know when someone's going to come up to you, and you almost have to be like Showtime ready in a way. Like, no matter how your day is going, you have to figure out how to like put on a happy face and just be like, oh, really appreciate it. At first, I think I was more like, people would come up to me and I'd be like, oh, weird. I'd say something like, probably something more in line with what I was actually thinking. But it's been an it's been an adjustment, and I've gotten better at being gracious with it. But it's strange. It's strange. Like being anonymous is what a treat. But it's a life I've decided to live. I use my real name and everything, and it was bound to happen. So it's cool, but it is in some respects a little scary at times.
Yeah, yeah. I have heard from celebrities that we all wish for fame and fortune, and really, in the end, what you really want is just fortune. You can leave the fame at the door.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. For sure. I feel like
Mhm.
that's very true. And I'm very grateful for it. It's cool. It took a little bit. It took a little bit of me getting used to it before it wasn't scary. Not scary, but alarming in a way when people do it. But we were just out this weekend and we ran into some folks who knew who I was and they wanted to take photos, and it was cool. Like they were really happy to see me, and I was like, that's great. And I guess it's always fun. It's funny too, because I've always been like a I was a depressed kid who couldn't imagine anybody would ever be excited to see me in public. So it's like getting used to that idea that people have a very positive outlook on who I am, even though at times I don't have a really positive personal, like introspective outlook on myself. So that can be interesting too, in a way. Just having people like come up to you happy to see you, and you're like, I don't know that I'm anything special.
It's definitely, I imagine, having has to be a huge adjustment because I think you told us before we started recording that you're an introvert. So to have all of a sudden that notoriety and to have people recognize you and telling you things about yourself, that had to have been like a really like jarring adjustment for you. Having just was there a certain number where it was like, wow, like it's crazy how often this happens now, like for like followers and stuff?
Yeah, definitely. I hit, I don't know, maybe when I hit like 50,000 or something. And it doesn't, also like, cause a lot of what I do is very regionally based. It I think it gets fed to a lot of local people around here anyway. So it just ups the odds that someone knows who I am based on that alone. But yeah, once it was like hit 50K or something, it started happening all the time, like almost daily. And I have a day job, and I was sitting at my desk one day and somebody walked by and stopped and yelled. They were so excited to just see me in person.
Oh, well,
And I remember being like, holy shit, like what is happening? Uh, they're like, I just saw you. Oh my God, I love you. And I was like, I'm just a guy who works in the office. Uh, but yeah, it definitely 50K is probably when it got weirder in public. And then now it's 105 and it's not slowing down. So I don't imagine it's going to go away. And that's cool. I'm not saying it's not without, it's mostly very cool, but there's an underbelly. There's a side that people don't really talk about where it's not easy losing that anonymity and becoming a public person. And I've started to talk about it more on stage just because it's such a strange thing to experience as a person, to go from just being Scott Losse, guy who works at an office and has dogs, to being Scott Losse, person who people stop and say hi and who know everything about me. And that's been pretty jarring.
Yeah. I've seen it at almost like the biggest level. I
Mhm.
used to be a VIP host in Vegas and would take care of Enrique Iglesias every time he came to town. And it would take us sometimes an hour to walk through just like a casino floor
Oh,
with
geez.
the amount of people that they would leave their job, like just leave whatever they were doing, whether they were like washing dishes, waiting tables, and just charge to say hi to the guy. Um, and yeah, it's just at an international level, like what a mind fuck that must be. Yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I get 8 DMs and I'm overwhelmed.
I feel
It's
you. I feel you. Yeah.
it's like there's this whole managing part to it where it's like you can be very social on social media or you cannot be social at all. And like, managing my own mental health on social media has been a real focus. And I think I do a pretty good job at it. Like I've made certain choices along the way not to read all the comments. Sometimes I don't read any comments at all because I'm aware that a negative comment would deal a little bit too much psychic damage to me, and it would be hard to deal with. So, like, early on, I decided I wouldn't do that, and I don't, even to this day. So much so that people comment on stuff and they're like, "He doesn't read any of these." And I'm like, Occasionally I do." But you gotta draw a line somewhere or
Yeah.
else it ends up you're not in control of it, it becomes in control of you. And that can just be a very dark place to be.
Yeah.
So
Because
I
you could
bet.
get 20 positive comments and
Mhm.
one that's just not even totally negative, just ambivalent, maybe.
Yeah.
And that one sticks out. Yep.
Yeah, they're not, like, rude, they're not mean, or they're it's not y what you yeah, correct. It's not like they're not even lashing out at you or anything, but they'll just be like, "Oh, whatever." They'll just be, like, the most benign negative
Uh-huh.
comment, but I'll just be like, "I can't believe this stranger went out of their way to be rude to me." And I'm just like I'll dwell on that because 'cause I'm just like, "Why would you do that? I wouldn't do that to someone else." Like, I'm a person, and so I had to stop because yeah, I had a video go huge, and my friend's like, "You should read the comments. They're overwhelmingly positive." And I'm like, "Yeah, but there's those ones that are just blah, and those are the ones I'm gonna pay attention to and take to heart and really." I'm like, "That's what the real opinion is." It's just the way my mind works. It's just like I just grab grasp on to the negative ones, and for some reason choose that those must be the ones that have more kernels of truth in them, as a
Well,
way of.
I think even for all of us, like I just had this sort of weird, I don't know, I guess epiphany. There's this husband and wife psychology team that have done more research on couples therapy and relationships than pretty much anybody else in the world. And they have this ratio that's to have a successful relationship, you have to have 20 positive interactions to every one negative interaction.
Mm,
And so that, that is just what we need in our lives. Otherwise, it's going to be an unhealthy relationship. And
yeah.
so
Oh,
we
for
need
sure.
that much positivity. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Does that make me am I like a maniac? I don't know, but that's true. I need it to be so positive because that one crappy voice will just I'll be like, "What's the point? Why am I doing this?" So maybe in that respect, people coming up to me is actually cool because it like solidifies the positivity behind the stuff I make, even though it's been an adjustment. But it's just funny how like your brain works that you just really latch on to those all the negativity that comes towards you. Even if it's not founded, a lot of it is ambivalent, or it's just like people who don't even know who I am, not even familiar with the content. They just come into one, say something crap. It gets buried by positive things, but I find it ruins my day. And I'm like, oh, this is over. Must be what a lot of people think. Like, it's just easy to go spiral into that depression on the online for sure.
So I know you talked about the negative things that have happened because of the notoriety and the viral video.
Yeah.
Maybe tell me, what are some positives? Are there people who you met who you never thought you'd meet and you like had a cool time hanging out with them? What are some of the like positive things that have happened because of this?
Yeah, there's way more of that for sure. I've met so many cool people locally because of the content I make about living here. I meet people all the time
It's
who
very honest and true, by the way. It's so nice
I'll
to
think
see actual Seattle-like content.
it's I don't know if there was a void or not, but I saw some and I was like, this doesn't I didn't go out to make it in response to someone not doing it well, but I just felt like there wasn't any. And like it was stuff I wanted to do and I was like, I guess I'll give it a shot. Like, it wasn't like a targeted thing. I was just like, this is funny to me. It's probably funny to other people in the area. But I've met a lot of people who've told me they really like it, and people who've moved here from other places who are like, you popped up on my feed and it's cool because I just moved here and it gave me an idea of what it's like here. Like through my sarcastic videos, they've learned more about the place that they've moved to, and it's been helpful, which is funny, but I've gotten that from a few people, and that's beyond anything I ever expected. Like, I never set out to make a video thinking that it was gonna be helpful in any way, which is a weird sentence to say. But I never thought, "Oh, someone's gonna appreciate this." I just thought, "This is a stupid idea I had at home. I'm gonna make a stupid video, or I'm gonna make a dumb video or something." But I've met a lot of local people who are just rad. I've done a lot of snowboard stuff, and I've met a lot of people in the mountains who I wouldn't have met before. I've gotten to work with people at different ski resorts and stuff, which is who I never would have been in contact if it wasn't for these little like, putting it out there without worrying about ridicule, I guess, in a way. What's funny is I don't do a lot of brand stuff because I don't really fancy myself as an influencer or a brand kind of person. And I'm from Seattle, so we're like
Sure.
capitalism. And so I'm
Mhm.
just like, so I don't care. Someone came up to me, someone hit me up the other day and they're like, "Oh, we want to do this. Let me know what you want." I'm like, I don't care. I don't want anything. Like, I just you guys sell you have shirts? Send me a shirt or send me a thing. Like, I don't care. Like, being in it for money feels like silly at this point. 'Cause, like, it would change it in a way if it became the job. But, yeah, I've met local people, that's been rad, people come up to me. I've met company owners from the weirdest thing that's happened is, like, I made some videos about mountain biking. I made mountain bike videos that got super popular, and that community is the coolest community I've ever encountered, and I had no idea. I just made a couple videos. They were satire about mountain biking, and I've been embraced by those people, and they're the nicest, kindest people on earth. And they come to comedy shows, like, they in droves. They come out to stuff, like, they buy tickets, they come out, they tell me how much they like everything. So, I guess the coolest thing about it is, like, it's helped combat the negative voice in my head when people do approach me in person and are like, "Hey, I like you." And I'm like, "Okay, I guess people like me. I guess I believe it." But that's been the coolest thing. There's just, like, the people I would never expect to embrace it, like people who are seriously into a sport or like real hardcore mountain bike dudes. I wouldn't expect them to like my silly crap, but like those people are into it. And that's just been neat. I guess it's taught me a lot about people and maybe that I misjudge people a lot and I assume the worst about what people will. I made a lot of assumptions about the type of person that would enjoy me, and it's been rad to meet people and talk to people online and be like, "Oh, it appeals to so many more communities than I ever thought possible." I'd say there's negatives to being online like anything else, but there's like an overwhelming amount of positivity and this has changed my life in a lot of ways, especially like how I feel about myself and self-worth and how I look at myself and feel valuable, I guess. So it's been cool. But yeah, I just get to meet people. I get to meet cool people. People ask me to be on podcasts and talk, and that's bananas.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's
Mhm.
I initially reached out to you because I was like, "Man, this guy's content is great. I love it." And then you responded to my DM and I was like, I'm just gonna put it out there. Hey, you want to be on a podcast? So,
Always.
so I'm really
I'll be
glad
on.
I took that shot because I'm so glad you're here.
I'm glad you asked. That's a funny thing. Like, I've become like bigger in that space, and I have a hard time thinking like I compare my success to everyone else all the time. And if there's anything I've learned about myself through this process is that I'm always looking up. I'm always like, I got 50, but that person has 100. Now I have 100, and I'm like, that person has 300. There's never, it's hard. I have to teach myself to be grateful and happy in the moment. And that's super difficult because the internet, like the internet is like constantly driving creators to have upward, just go and go and go. And like to not gain is to fail. So that will start to mess with you really bad. But I'm happy when people reach out, and it's people. I have people tell me all the time, they're like, "Oh, I didn't think you were gonna write me back." And I was like, yeah, I'm not anybody. I just got struck by lightning, and now I have 100,000 followers, and I don't know. But that's the secret is I don't read comments, but if you DM me, I write everybody back.
How cool. That really is cool though. I think that's almost what it's all about in a lot of ways, right? Is that you're making this content for especially for the Pacific Northwesterners and then they actually get to engage with you.
Yeah, and I feel if you take the time to write an email or a DM or whatever, like that's going like an extra step. Like it's an extra step, right? It's like commenting on a post is pretty easy to do, but writing the email and hitting send, I think there's like a vulnerability to it. And so I see that, and you get messages and you're like, yeah, I would want, if I reached out to someone I liked, you know what I'd love is if that person wrote me back, like maybe right away and just said thanks, just to, if they weren't like, because at the end of the day, I'm just like an every guy. I'm just some dude. There's no wall between me and the people who enjoy my content. I'm just lucky enough that it's gotten popular and I've been able to have another job where I create stuff. So if someone reaches out and they're not weird, I will write them back. And if they're weird, I'll probably write them back also.
You heard it here, folks. If you're
Yeah,
weird, please email.
no, my nephew asked me the other day. I have a 10-year-old nephew, and he's like in that age where they're like internet obsessed, and he thinks
Yeah.
it's really. I think he thinks it's cool. Uncle Scotty's like internet famous or whatever, and he'll be like, "Do you get a lot of messages?" Yeah. He's, "Are they weird?" And I'm like, "Yeah, some of them are really strange. That you can just pick and choose who you talk to." But
And there is nothing, as an uncle to two 5-year-old twins, there is nothing better than looking cool to your nephews,
yeah,
I think.
yeah.
Seriously, there is nothing cooler than that.
I say that all the time. I'm like, people will offer me stuff online or I'll talk to a company and I'm like, you know who you should send stuff to? My nephews. Send them a Can you send them a box of stuff? Because that would make me look like the raddest person
Yeah.
on earth. And
Mhm.
that's what I do. Yeah, that makes
That's
me
the best
happy.
form of validation. Yeah, it
Mhm.
really is. Mhm.
Yeah, is when they're like, holy crap, Uncle Scott, this company sent me a box. I was like, yeah, dude, stick with me. I
Your
don't know.
favorite uncle, right?
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
I'm trying way too hard on that front. I think I could probably tone it down a little bit, but I'm going for it. They're
Yeah.
only young for so long. That's what I keep telling myself. I'm like, eventually they'll be sick of it and they'll be like, "Oh, Uncle Scott, what a dork," or whatever. But
Which just stop. Gosh.
yeah, is he online again? Is he making a video? God, what an idiot. I try not to make content around them though, because it just feels weird. I try not to make content around anybody because it feels strange. It's like the most embarrassing thing I do. So I never do.
Yeah, I go out in my backyard and make my videos where no one can hear me or see me, make my mistakes several times.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder how many times. I wonder if my neighbor knows. She must hear me. I can only she must hear me do 20 takes of a thing and just be like, "What is he doing?" Because a lot of it, like for a long time, a lot of it I just recorded it in my front yard. I just like re-record over and over and over. and where I didn't think anybody could hear me, but I have a suspicion that my neighbors know I'm some weirdo from the internet.
It's such a hard thing to do. Yesterday was the very first day. So I just hired like a social media person for my practice,
Mhm.
and she shot content with me for 2 or 3 hours. And it was, I don't know if I've ever felt more nervous, judged, stupid, brain farts, one right after the other, take after another. It's really difficult to put out content.
Yeah, and it is, and it's like I try to give myself credit for it. I've had people I think that's an important thing in life is when you're good at something, like, a lot of times it's hard to give yourself credit for being good at something, but, like, I think it's important to embrace and be like, "Yeah, what I do is really hard to do," and that is why not everybody does it. That's not why not everybody has a podcast. That's not that's why everybody isn't filming videos because it's a lot of work, and for the most part, it doesn't pay off at all. So it's just a grind, and like those videos are just like I feel so stupid. And like I filmed one on a ferry the other day, and I was just like I was just like, oh shit, is somebody watching? Are people watching? I tried to find places where nobody was, so that I could film it. But like I wanted to get certain shots, so I had to talk in front of a couple people, and the whole time I'm just like, oh my god, I'm so dumb. What am I doing? And I got better. Like definitely at first, I was really squeamish about it, and I still am. I still won't really do it in front of crowds. There's this like that typical social media influencer thing where they're like somebody who's filming themselves in front of a whole city block, and I'm like, nah, absolutely not. It's not never gonna happen. Like,
The
uh,
worst for me is all the people that film themselves at the gym.
oh
They're
yeah,
actually
sure.
setting up tripods to shoot. Yeah, there's a couple of times I've given them the bird on the back.
That's so funny. Yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah.
I would never. I could only imagine the comments you get for gym videos. I don't want that. Man, I definitely don't show certain things, like, because of that, because people criticize people so much. Like, I have mountain bike videos, I never ride a mountain bike in the mountain bike video, because the culture of sharing yourself or doing a sport is such that you are just gonna attract people who say you suck. So I just don't. I make videos that imply I suck, and then I never show myself being bad at anything, because it's I'm always 3 steps ahead on what I think the insult will be, and maybe that's help, or maybe that's a stand-up comedian thing, but I've always planned for 5 to 10 negative things to happen as a result of something, but
So, what is something that is specific, especially maybe in your videos, to the Pacific Northwest? I live down here in Newport Beach, where
oh,
yesterday
sure.
was the coldest and wettest. It rained once in the last 3 months, and we were all freezing. It was, 48,
Oh,
something
no.
like that. Yeah, exactly.
I never make videos about it
Mhm.
being cold because people from other parts of the country will tell you that it's not that cold, so I stopped. I've done it, and, like, you'll just get a comment from somebody in the Midwest who tells you to
Yeah.
buck up. Okay. I don't know, like, it's funny, like, a lot of the a lot of the Pacific Northwest stuff is just like an attitude about a thing. Like, nobody up here uses umbrellas at
I was
all.
just gonna say that's the number
Yeah.
one thing about Seattleites is we do not touch umbrellas from the time we're born.
No.
Don't touch it.
I have owned a couple, and I've never kept them nearby. Like, they just live in a closet or something, and I'll leave the house pouring rain, no umbrella. Like, nobody uses umbrella. And it's just I don't it's I'm not even sure where the attitude comes from. It's just like this, "It's crappy all the time. Why bother?
I've
Why
done
bother
research on
for"
this.
Have you?
Yeah, I actually know the answer to this.
Why don't we?
So, let me start off by telling you I'm a part-time tour guide down at Pike Place Market.
Oh,
So,
cool.
I know a lot of market history. I do food tours down there. My company, we carry a pink umbrella while we're giving the tours. So I was like, "You guys are gonna make me carry an umbrella. Let me learn a
No.
little history to make a joke about it." As far back until the early, like, settling days of Seattle, they found out that umbrellas are worthless because our rain isn't heavy and it rains sideways. And the wind was strong, so they would just fold up. So there's like, "We're just not gonna use umbrellas." And it just passed down. There was a guy who was traveling. He wrote a book in the early 1920s and mentioned Seattleites' craziness about not using umbrellas. It's
Oh,
wild.
interesting.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, nobody has people have them, and you're like, "Oh, they must be tourists."
Yep. Yep.
Like, they must have been
You
or they
don't live
must have
here, do you? Or a transplant.
yeah, you moved here from somewhere else, like, you don't 'cause that's true, though, they just blow inside out, and then it's just a waste of time, and then you have this wet thing you have to carry around anyway, it's just like a pain in the ass, so I never
Yeah. And then the other thing here is mid, we are in the long dark right now.
yeah, yeah. It's, like, heavy, and that's like a it's funny because people are like, "It's dark everywhere," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know it's dark a lot of other places," but it's a mixture like, the mix of dark and then overcast for, like, months.
Gloom. Yeah.
Yeah, where you don't like, it's actually very sunny. It's been sunny lately, and it's, like, very funny because like, my friends and I are like, "I'm, like, motivated to do stuff." Like, I feel like going out or something.
Let's go do something in the garden. It's sunny out. That's just how and
Yeah,
it's
I've been thinking about making a video because 'cause I'm
37
just like
degrees out.
yeah, it's, like, sunny, but it's freezing, and it's but yeah, the long once that sun starts dipping after 4 o'clock, everything just motivation is gone. Like, making videos has been a pain. I'm
Yeah, I
like, "I don't
bet.
wanna make a video. I don't wanna be funny. I just wanna go to bed." Like, go to bed at 6:30 or
Yeah, I was gonna
something.
say it's 6:30, you're like, "Is it 10:30 yet?"
Yeah, I'll go to bed
It's
super early during the winter, and it's very seasonal, my sleep patterns, like, right now, it's like, I'll go to bed at 7. I'll be like, "That's fine. It's dark." It's the dogs are okay with it, they don't care, but it's, your vitamin D just, like, collapses,
Yeah.
and truth be told, I'm not very good at taking supplements anyway, so it's just I just ride it out, but it's rough, like, you gotta like, seasonal depression is hard here. You gotta find an activity you like to do to keep yourself going, or else you'll just, like, spiral into a couch nest and stay there for 3 months. Like, it's
like you're
heavy.
speaking to my heart.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. Like, I get the internet has motivated me. It's like, I gotta make my 3 videos a week, so I better get out and do something and leave. But whole yeah, like, this week's been funny because like, you can feel your mood just go up, and you're like, "I'm ready to go." I've ridden my bike, and we've been going places, but, like, next week, it's gonna get cloudy again, and I'm just like, "No, we're gonna go." I don't know. It's an interesting place. I suspect that the wintertime, like, I always suspect that during the winter time that there's, like, an increase depression and also increase, like, substance abuse
And
problems probably
yeah,
happen too.
drinking.
I noticed that for sure. It's something I've dealt with, especially in the winter, you're just like, "I'm gonna go drink or something. I'm gonna go do
Do you
something."
notice like that the whole community goes through it at the same time? Yeah, like maybe
Yeah.
people stop calling each other as much, or
Yeah.
like you're almost loose.
Less people in the streets.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, there's not people aren't around. Nobody's motivated. Everybody's canceling their plans. Everybody is just doing whatever. If you don't have a winter sport, I can only imagine it can be even harder if you don't have a schedule or somewhere to go. I snowboard with my nephew all the time every week, so it's like I have to get up and leave. I have to go somewhere, so it's motivating. But yeah, everybody is grumpy and bummed out and irritable, and they you can do things about it. They sell lights. I don't know. But yeah, they have the happy lights. And you can take vitamin D supplement. It's like I never have. I don't know why. Just yeah. So you got it. Kirkland signature. Perfect. It's a but yeah, it's a very specific, like, everybody I don't know. There's just a Pacific Northwest is a very I've traveled a lot doing stand-up and stuff, and it's just a very specific character type. There's a person who is we all are cut from slightly the same cloth. So,
I
it's
feel like there's a lot of sarcasm, or I don't
yeah.
like pessimistic sarcasm, fun way. I think,
Yeah.
or um,
That's fair.
Yes.
yeah.
I get a lot of what's funny is, like, people on Instagram understand my sarcasm. And people on Facebook think I'm a real asshole
Oh,
sometimes.
interesting. That's so
I don't know what it
interesting.
is. It's like the way the algorithm provides my content to people. Some people really get it, but then I go on like Facebook and I'll catch a stray comment. It's just somebody who's, if you don't like it, blah, 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 why don't you just get out of here? And it's, man, I don't know how like more sarcastic I could be in these videos just for you not to recognize what's happening. But it's a dry, they're very witty. Like
Yes,
Pacific
yes.
it's a
Yeah,
very
dry wit.
witty area. Yeah. It's very dry wit in a wet place. And it's very like dark.
It's
Like they're,
dark humor. I find
yeah.
myself saying things I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that came out of my mouth." When everyone
Oh
else
yeah.
around is laughing, I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'm gonna keep going dark."
Yeah, they let you do it. They let you get away with it, and then you try to do it other places, and they're not down. But here you can say a lot of stuff. Everyone's pretty willing to laugh at their depression out here. Yeah, we're pretty comfortable talking about it. It's still not, I don't know. Like my closest friends and I will talk about our mental states and stuff, and we're pretty good about it. But men as a whole are not particularly vulnerable in that way. But I don't know. I think I was just raised in such a way that it was like, I've always been pretty open with my feelings. And as like a creative person, maybe you just express yourself a lot more and not afraid of throwing out there, especially as a stand-up, I guess. You're just constantly sharing all your truths. So you never really hide too much about to the to some detriment of some crowds, I'm sure. But yeah, I don't know. I love it out here. It's great. For all the bad weather, you get a couple months that are absolutely gorgeous and worth it. And
Swimming in Lake Washington, the
oh yeah,
sun, the boats, the mountains. When the mountain is out is my favorite time.
yeah, that's such a funny regional saying. When the mountain is
When the
out.
mountain is
Yeah,
out.
that's how we say it's sunny.
Yeah, the mountain's out. It was out. It's been out lately. It's been so
Yeah.
pretty. But yeah,
She.
I love she's so good. But where do you work for at the market?
I
What
work
tour?
I work for a company called Savor Seattle.
Okay,
We
nice.
we do food tours and history tours to the market.
Oh, cool.
And man, that's really Pike Place Market's become my favorite place in Seattle. It's very welcoming and it's very safe down there. They've kind of
Yeah,
become like my little tight-knit community.
nice.
So, yeah, that's how I spend my weekends in summertime is doing tours down there.
Oh, that's cool. How many do you do a day?
I can do up to 2,
Oh, nice. Are
but
they very long?
I can take groups up to 16. It's about 2 hours, maybe a little bit more sometimes.
What spots do you hit up for, like,
Oh,
food
man,
tour?
alright. So, we eat the donuts, the Daily Dozen donuts.
Oh, nice.
We go to, Frank's Produce,
Oh, cool.
which is the cool fruit stand across the street from Throwers.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, we hit Chowder at Pike Place Chowder. We do some Rachel's Ginger Beer, Chucker Cherries, Turkish Delight, and,
Nice.
Seatown.
Classic.
Yeah.
That's
But
awesome.
throughout the whole time, we talk about history, we talk about the stories of the places that we're eating at and the story behind the food.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, you should come down. I'd love to bring on a tour.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I spent a lot of time at the market forever.
Yeah,
It's
perfect.
such a cool place.
Yeah. I'm down
So
there all the
rad down
time.
there.
Those are my homies. I go and say hi, even though I'm not doing tours right now.
Yeah, what do you do in the off season?
I work for King County, actually.
Oh, do you?
That's my full-time job. That's what I do 5 days a week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm the assistant to the King County assessor.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Nice. That's rad.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's my everyday job, and then I do this on Mondays.
Yeah. How long have you guys been doing this?
This is our 2nd season together.
Oh, nice.
How do you Yeah, it's been,
Year and a
about a
half?
year and a half
Nice. How did you all meet?
through a friend.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was doing a podcast with another psychologist therapist up there, and then we were, I don't know if we were both were, or I think it was just me. I was a guest on Sky had his own
Yeah.
podcast, and then the guy that I was doing my podcast with had to take some time off, and so
And the guy I was doing my
we,
podcast with
yeah.
left, and we just ended up chatting.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
And
I always end up interviewing the podcasters. I apologize, but I'm
no,
always
it's
interested in
great.
what people are. I'm always wondering. As I'm always fascinated with like how people connected and got into it.
Yeah, and it's
But
been
that's
really
cool.
fun. It's connecting through from a couple states away and having the professional view and then just my regular everyday view, I thought would be really fun. And, Ryan
Yeah,
and I have really learned to communicate and we've learned how much we like doing this and interviewing people.
that's awesome. And you wear beanies a lot too.
This is for you today. I wore a beanie and a flannel to
Thank you.
celebrate. I have 6 flannels in my closet, but I never
Oh,
wear
do
them.
you?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
The first thing I asked Guy when I saw him today was, "Damn, it must be cold there."
It is cold, dude.
This is from El Gringo at the market.
Cold.
Yeah.
It's nice. I like that beanie. People started sending me beanies, which is crazy.
I'm a beanie snob myself.
Yeah, I am too. And like, I've gotten boxes of them and like some good ones. A couple companies noticed I wore their beanies in the videos and they sent me boxes of they were like, "Do you want a box
That's
of
the
beanies?" I
best.
was like,
Yeah.
"I guess so, yeah." And I got 40 beanies. And like yeah, that's been a bonus is I don't really have to buy hats anymore.
That's it.
But that was weird. Like that was when I knew things were picking up a lot. Was when somebody was like, "We noticed you wore our product on your video. Do you want a bunch of it?" And I'm like,
That's cool.
"Yeah, I don't need more hats, but I do." But I do have brands that I specifically like. Or I'm like, these are my favorite hats. These are my favorite shirts. I have a lot of opinions. People send me merch all the time, and I'm like, I don't know that I like the way the shirt you printed that on. And like kind of like it's given me a lot of opinions on merchandise for sure. It's funny, but yeah, I ended up that was like the first thing anybody ever asked was like if I wanted free hats, and it was a company that I was really into, and I was just like, holy shit, I'm famous. But
I'm sure so your beanie collection has grown exponentially then.
yeah, it's too.
Hoodies and flannels, it's what I own most of.
I love that. Me too. I'm like such a hoodie guy, and I have so many flannels too. But yeah, my beanie collection is like I probably have 60 now,
Wow.
and like I know, I was like, "We need to donate a lot of these."
Yeah,
I just need to
absolutely.
pick and we will. We're just like I've started to be like, if I get stuff from a company, then I'm gonna give away a bunch of it because I don't have any need for it, and there's plenty of people who would need a warm head who don't
Yeah.
have 3 snowboards hanging on a wall behind them. So I've been trying to we're we're pretty supportive and try to help out nonprofits as much as we can.
Yeah.
But yeah, my wife has worked in nonprofit forever, so it's like I have that. I don't talk about that part on it's funny the parts of yourself you don't talk about online just because 'cause I'll never get political because 'cause I'm from Seattle, figure it out. And
Everyone
like
probably just assumes you work in
I
tech.
just assume. Yeah. Yeah.
they know, yeah, just they know. Like somebody was like, "I'm glad you never do," and I'm like, "I don't think I have to." I think it's like I am a guy who talks about how much he likes cats, and I live in King County, and I drive a Subaru. Who do you think I voted for? What do you think my opinion on trans rights are? Figure it out. Yeah, I don't need to make the video. I will if I have to, but again, just you.
But
But
it's the unspoken things that are the loudest.
yeah, I think it's like maybe a lot, and it's cool. Like I tour and I perform places that are a lot more red than here, and it's that what I do seems to be pretty universal, and they laugh, and I make fun of everything, and I make fun of red parts of the state, and they still enjoy it, and that's another thing I like about the Pacific Northwest that's, I think, not necessarily just purely here, but, like, a lot of our states are split down the freaking center with politics, and
Yep.
it's pretty funny. Like, you just go east, and all of a sudden you're in a very different zone with very different beliefs and much bigger trucks.
Someone just told me that there is a beach in Southwest Washington that is very red randomly.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
very odd.
That'd be interesting. It's like where? I
Ocean
can imagine.
shores.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine that. It's like a retiree heavy zone. They
Mhm.
probably like looking a little more conservative out there. But yeah, that's
Yeah, I like how
like
supportive most of Washington is of everything, everybody's mental health especially.
yeah. Yeah, there's like a universal, like, even when politically people are different, there's like a good I feel like people are pretty emotionally intelligent out here. That's what you find. Even when people don't agree on certain issues or environmental things, they're still,
Mhm.
like, pretty knowledgeable. It's mental health hasn't become utterly politicized, which is nice. Everything else has. Depression hasn't become a democratic problem yet,
Yeah.
so that's good. But yeah, I think that's true. I think that's why I'll never leave is because I enjoy the people and I enjoy how there's different folks, but I also enjoy, like, the commonalities people share here are cool, and it gives me hope that people can get along even though they don't share the same outlook on certain things.
Yeah.
But, did you grow up down here?
Yeah. Born and raised Seattle.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
My whole life.
Yeah, Seattle area, for
Yep.
sure. Yeah,
Always
that's
like
rad.
Woodinville, Bothell, the east side
Oh, cool.
where I grew up.
It's funny because like, it's almost unique out here in Seattle to have meet Seattle people, like, so many transplants, so it's
They say it's like seeing a tiger in the wild.
yeah, people say that just I've had people tell me that. People ask me that a lot, they're like, "Are you from here? Are you from here?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, "Born?" "Yeah." "No, nobody's born here." I was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, dude, we're like" but it's so funny. But yeah, it's a great area, and it's just and everybody's has this good sense of humor, and they're all very sarcastic assholes, so
For
it
sure.
works. It works nicely. But yeah, it's also a dark area that has suffers from a lot of mental illness, and I think that makes us all, like, dark, funny weirdos in a way, because 'cause we're, like, trying to navigate our way out of things, and you gotta find funniness in everything, or else you go mad, the darkness will take you.
And I think that's what you do for people. You bring them that the obvious PNW. Oh my God, I totally relate to that. And that's what I love about you is like I totally relate to what you're saying. And I totally relate to the experience that you're talking about because nobody else but Seattleites understand this.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that, and it's, like, a thing I never anticipated would hit at all. I never thought I should go hyper regional with my social media. Everybody's like, "You should reach everybody," and then I was like but then that started working, and I was like, "Maybe that's the angle maybe that's the cool thing. Maybe just because maybe there's a room maybe that's something people aren't, like, exploring on social media is, like, being hyper regional because there's a ton of people out here. It's not like there's a lack of audience or anything.
Yeah.
And also, it's so much easier to create content that's based on your shared experience. I don't have to make anything up. It's just like, I just go through my day and I'm like, "That's a kind of a funny thing," and then I can make a video, and there's tons of people out here who relate to it. So it's cool to hear. I appreciate that. It was never a targeted thing. It was just like, I'm gonna say what I think is funny being a person who grew up out here. And it turns out there's a bunch of people who think the same thing. So I've been really lucky in that regard, for sure.
Good. Ryan, I know that you've got to run pretty soon.
Yeah.
We are going to do our outro and thank you for being on the show. If you could stay on for just a few minutes after the recording ends so that it can complete uploading, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, of course. No hurry.
Sweet. Okay. Man, Scott, thank you so much for being on the show today. I know there's so much we can talk about. I love relating to you on the Seattle things and hearing your story, and we'd love to have you on again. So thanks for popping in. Do you want to tell our listeners where they can find you and follow you at?
Yeah, for sure. I'm on everything at Scott Losse. I
Simple.
don't It's easy. I'm on TikTok if you're there. I don't really try that hard because I haven't gotten a lot of traction and I gave up. But Instagram is really good and Facebook is fine. And I'm also on YouTube. So I'm on everything. If you look up Scott Losse and
L O S
I'm
S
on
E.
bingo. It's like posse with an L.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Scott, for being on the show. And thank you guys for joining us on another episode of Hey Man, It's Okay, the Men's Mental Health Podcast. Please follow, subscribe, send us an email with any suggestions, anything you think we should talk about or maybe missed, or just send us an email for a general question.
Thank you so much, guys. This has been a kind of a treat for me. I loved listening to all the insights on the Pacific Northwest. A lot of fun. Thank you so
And
much, Scott.
yeah,
Thank you, guys.
thanks, guys. And from all of us here at Hey Man, It's Okay, remember, it's okay to not be okay. Thanks for coming by.